Building AI phone callers on Vapi has been made quite easy. I mean, just spin up some English instructions to guide the AI on the call, give it some functions, test it, and you're done. I mean, I've overly simplified it, but point I'm getting to is, during the call, there might be certain actions you want done based on how the conversation is going. It could be you want something to happen when the user starts speaking, or you want something to happen when the call is transferred, or maybe you just want a summary at the end of the call. Either way, point is, in order to build way more advanced AI phone callers, you need to leverage Vapi server events. Server events are pieces of information that are sent to your server when specific things or events happen during the call. You need to master how they work. That's if you're taking this voicebot thing seriously. So let's get into it. But if you're new to the channel, my name is Mutiso and I'm part of the team at Big Grip, where we help business owners unlock the next level of growth through AI and automation. I'm also a master at building AI systems, and so I help developers out here get better by sharing my knowledge. With that said, let's jump into it. So I'm here on Vapi, and I'll assume that you already have an account. Otherwise, what are you doing in this tutorial on server events? Server events is a bit more advanced of stuff, but if you're a beginner on working with server events, I'll take you from that beginner to a complete pro within no time. But this is assuming you already have some basic knowledge on how Vapi works. So go ahead and log into your account, then spin up a quick voice bot with a quick prompt. So in this case, I built a voice bot and it has three functionalities in fact: answering questions of the user, booking them into an appointment, and saving their details, so their customer details, their name, email, to our database. So I won't touch much on the actual system prompt, because point of this tutorial is to focus on server events. So I just do a quick test here. So talk with assistant so that you see how the actual voicebot is structured.
Welcome to Big Grip. How may I assist you today?
Hi, I'm looking to book an appointment.
Great. Before we proceed, could you please provide me with your full name and email address?
So my name is Alex and my email is alex@gmail.com.
Got it, Alex. So you're Alex and your email is alex@gmail.com, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. Now, feel free to ask any questions you have in mind. I'm here to help.
Now, I just want to book an appointment.
Awesome. I can definitely help with that. First off, could you give me a quick rundown of the project requirements?
It's just a basic chatbot to handle customer support for my e-commerce website.
Got it. And when would you like to book the appointment?
Can we do tomorrow at 2:30 p.m.?
One moment. You're all set for tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Looking forward to it, Alex.
Goodbye. So during the call, it was sending events to my server based on what is happening during the call. So let's say the call has just started. That is an event. Let's say now I am speaking. That is an event. Let's say now the AI is speaking. That is an event. Let's say the call was being transferred to another number for the human being to handle. So for example, if the AI is not able to handle specific inquiries, the user might request the phone to be forwarded to an actual human being. If it is transferred to that human being, that is an event. Point is, there are various events that are always running during the call. So for us to be on the same page, we need to understand how server events work. So let me go to the server events Vapi documentation, which I think they are awesome. So as you can see here, all messages sent to your server URL will be a post request with the following body. So this is how a server event looks like. It will always have the message property. Then here is where we have the actual event type. So you can see the example I've given is a function call. So let's say during the demo, I asked the AI to book an appointment for me. For it to book the appointment, it needs to call the book appointment function. And when it does that, that is an event in itself. That is an action. Therefore, an event needs to be sent to our server URL. And that event type is function call. And we'll see the various event types that we have. So you can see here function calling. So when a tool or a function is executed during the call, a function call event will be sent. Then let me scroll down. So you can see here there's also call status updates. So during the call, the assistant will make multiple post requests to the server URL with the following body. Then you can see it will always be a status update event. Then the status can be ended, can be in progress, can be forwarding. And in progress is at the beginning of the call. When the call is starting, it will send an event, and that event type is in progress. Not event. Event type is status update, but the status itself is in progress. Same case to, let's say you're forwarding the call. Let's say the AI hasn't been able to answer to the user, and now we are forwarding it to an actual human being, it will now say, it will send an event, and that event type is status update, but the status is forwarding. And when the call ends, it will also send an event saying that yes, it's a status update and the status is ended. So here we have the end of call report. You're going to be using this so much, especially if you want a summary of how the call has gone. If you want, let's say, the transcript of the call and you want to save it somewhere in a database, the end of call report will contain all that. So you can see how it's structured. It's the same structure, but here instead the event type is end of call report, the reason of it ending, the summary of the actual call, and transcript of the actual call. And there's many more here. Then here we have the hang notification. This is an event that will be sent to your server when the AI takes over 5 seconds to give a response to the user. So let's say as a user I ask a question and the AI takes over 5 seconds. In that case, the AI voicebot will send an event to our server with this specific event, and the event type is hang, okay, for it to hang up the call. And you can see this event can be leveraged, let's say when you want to display an error message to the user, or to send a notification to your team telling them the AI is bugging or something of the sort. Now that you have a picture of the type of server events that can be sent to your server, let's go and actually work with them. So in order for you to work with the server events, you will need a server URL. This is the URL that will be used by Vapi in order to be sending the pieces of information, the events as they happen live during the call. So for us to be on the same page, let's be clear on what the server is. The server could be make.com. The server could be a Linux server out there. Point is, the server is going to be hosting the various actions that need to be taken when the events come in from Vapi. So if you know at the end of the call that is an event and you want the summary to be saved to Airtable database, if that's the case, our server needs to be able to handle that functionality. And that's why you're able to use either code or no code. So no code, you can go with make.com or Zapier to act as your server. Or if you're using code, you could use a Linux server or a Windows server that is hosting your code, and the code is the one that is handling the actions when the pieces of events come from Vapi. So in order to add your server URL in place, you'll have to come here to the advanced section, then scroll down till where you see messaging, and here is where you paste in your server URL. You can see mine is a make.com server. In practical sense, it's just a scenario that's handling everything. So I'll go to that make.com scenario. So I'm here at the actual scenario, and it's a simple one, okay? It has a trigger module that takes in the events as they come in from Vapi. Then we have a router, and what the router does is it will branch off based on the event that is coming in. So if the event is an end of call report, we want it to go through that specific route. If the event is a function call, we want it to do something else. If the event is, let's say, a conversation update, we might want to do something different, okay? So we have the router in place, and after the router, we have filters so that the actions are undertaken based on the event type. So let me just enter the filter here. The filter here you can see is it checks the message type, which is the event type that's coming from Vapi. If it equals end of call report, then flow through this path in order to execute, let's say, saving the transcript or the summary to our database. Then I enter here. If the event type is function call, in that case, do something specific. So it can be either function call or tool calls. Do something specific. So this is how we're able to manage the various events that come in from Vapi. Because the reality is, so many events could be sent to this specific scenario, and maybe we don't want to perform an action for each event that comes in. So maybe we only want to perform an action for the end of call report, for a function call, for our forwarding of the call to a different phone number. Whatever it is, we might only want to perform actions for only some specific set of events. So if that's the case, we set up filters so that the bundle of data or the event only passes on to perform the action if the event type is a specific event type. So on your side, you can spin up a quick scenario on this. It's not something complicated. Then you copy address to clipboard, then go back to Vapi and paste it in there. So here on Vapi, paste it in there, then scroll down here, leave client messages for now. You're mainly going to be working with server messages, okay? So click on the drop down over here. So here's where you tell Vapi the type of events you want to be sent to our server. You can see they collect a whole heap of events conversation update, end of call report, hang, model output, it's a lot. Point is, we don't want to send all of that. Maybe you only want to send for function call, for end of call report. We also want it or for the tool calls, etc. So let's start with that. Also, let's add conversation update so that we're able to see the events as they come in live during the call. So once I add those server messages, or in brackets events, let me just click publish to save that. Then go back to make.com, ensure that this is toggled on and running. Then I'll click on this back button. That is critical so that we're able to see the events as they come in live during the call. So let me come back here, talk with assistant, then let's test it out and see it in action.
Welcome to Big Grip. How may I assist you today?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. Before we dive in, could you please provide me with your full name and email address?
Okay, my name is John and my email is john@gmail.com.
Got it. So, your name is John, and your email is john@gmail.com.
So I'll end the call there, but you've been able to see events were coming in live during the call and they were hitting this specific scenario. Okay, so I've run into an error here on the final event for the end of call report, which I think is an issue with my actual JSON module. But you know, the point is I was trying to show you is you're able to see the events as they come in. So when I scroll down here, I'm able to click on a specific event to see the kind of data that came from Vapi. So when I click on the bubble here, then expand the message, you can see the type of event is a conversation update. Then in the conversation there are two. So you can see the first one is the system prompt. Then the second one is the assistant just saying, hey, welcome to Big Grip. Okay, so you noticed all those events were coming into this specific server, which is make.com, but we don't want to perform an action for all of them. That's why we need to have filters in place to only filter out and perform actions for specific events. It's also critical to take note that for your make.com scenario, it has to be scheduled on and always ready to receive data from your Vapi voice bot as the call is happening. Otherwise, Vapi will try sending events to your server and it will find that the server isn't running or is off and it won't be able to send the data. But the critical part I want to emphasize, since there are various events that come in from Vapi and they have different structures of how the JSON itself is structured, the critical part is having filters in place. So this filter that you're seeing here is very critical. You'll have a router, then for the various events that you only want to perform actions for, you'll have a route for each one of them. Okay, so the first one here I have is for saving the summary or the transcript to my database at the end of the call. So for that I need to only run it for the end of call report. That's why in my filter here I have the condition as the message type equals end of call report, or rather the event type equals end of call report. If I want to perform an action when there's a conversation update, okay, so you'll have it here and perform your functionalities accordingly after this specific filter, and that is definitely dependent on you. And yeah, that's it from me. That's how you're able to work with Vapi server events in order to perform certain actions when specific things happen during the call. It's really awesome because these actions happen in the background without even the user knowing. There's so much you can achieve with server events and make.com. You can also achieve way more with server events and actual code. So when you have code hosted on a specific server, you're able to leverage the code to perform a whole heap of functionalities based on the server events that come from Vapi. Anyways, that's it from me. If you don't want to work with our team to build powerful AI and automation systems for your company, go ahead and click the link in the description to visit our website and book in a meeting with our team. Till next time, stay servy. Peace.